You're muted.
What am I doing? This is a professional show, guys, here, but what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of the Husker Gutter Call-In Show. Boy, do we got a lot to talk about today. We had the call-in show coming up today. Me and Brian were trying to get together yesterday to record a video, but since we weren't able to, he had work yesterday, I worked today, then we were just like, let's push the call-in show. We figured people want to talk about it anyways, so we're going to let y'all call in and see if y'all want to talk about it. We're going to dive into a little bit of that today and just get your thoughts on that. But one thing, well, first off, Brian, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. How are you? We wore black again on accident without trying to.
I had to, bro.
It's just the theme of the week, right?
We had to. You can't wear red this week. I was on a Facebook. First mistake is being on Facebook, Facebook group. And I mean, you see all the sticks in the mud on Facebook. I'm just going to throw that out there because everybody's like, it was this post that was, I think, done in jest, because there was the Sora AI video of like people like, joking around and throwing them trash bags, and there was like, this is going around on campus. And it was like a post saying like, hey, like if you don't wear black, you're going to be given a trash bag to put over you or whatever. And people are like, or you're going to be turned away at the gate. And everybody's, and these, all the old people are like, I dare them to turn me away at the gate. I'm going to wear red. And I'm like, stop being old and weird. Like, stop.
AI is going to get so many people in trouble.
Just stop being old and weird. I'll put it this way. Okay. I come from an Irish family. I'm 46% Irish, according to my 23andMe. Okay. I have a loud family. Okay. This is how bad it was. We're in the bottom level. I mean, bottom bowl at the game, the Nebraska game. My cousin Terry, like I'm kind of 8 rows up. My cousin Terry's kind of at the top of the bottom bowl. And somebody got mad at her for being too loud at the game. Some old lady called security over, got mad at her for being too loud, too rowdy at the game. That we got to get the old people out of the stadium. ASAP. 100%. This got to turn to like 90%. Like we got to put age limits on this game to be able to come to it.
Yeah, I can't remember which game it was. It was a while ago. And there was people complaining, not about me standing in front of them, which I'm 6'1", 6'2", so I'm pretty tall, but
taller than me.
People like farther down the rows in front of us, like, why are they standing? And I'm like, it's a football game. What do you want to sit on your hands the whole game? Like, no, that's why the bleachers are there, like to sit for like in between quarters or timeouts, but you should be standing the whole time.
My ass is up the whole game, bro. When I'm there. And if
I don't
anybody
sit very
behind
often.
me has a problem with it, I don't care.
Could care less.
Yeah. We got to get the old people out of there, bro.
I mean, the football program's completely gone all in on this blackout. I mean,
it's great. I love to see it. Like, this is the most in I think we've ever been on one of these that I can recall, because when we did it back in the day, social media wasn't as big as it is now. The last time we did the big blackout game, but now it seems like everything is invested in this. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring, back the welcome to the boneyard, all that, those signs out for the student section. Would be surprised if they roll those out. They painted the field black. Like, they are just buying into this 110%. And
I've got their Twitter pulled up. We can look through it here in a little bit.
Yeah, we have Mike pop in and out. So Mike's probably trying to figure out his last time he tried to pop in, his stuff wasn't connected. So let's see if we can get him back in here. Stuff connected. What is that? Is that copyright?
I heard something.
Oh, okay.
Music.
It's okay. It wasn't.
Got to mute that real quick.
Wasn't long enough for us to be copyright. All right. Well, actually, let's go ahead and dive into, I guess, the big news of the week, which is do y'all know what the big news of the week is? Did anybody hear that?
I don't know. I think most of us live in a rock.
Okay. Well, breaking news. Matt Rhule got extended.
Oh my gosh.
If I had my other audio interface hooked up, I would definitely hit that button.
Okay.
Oh, they did. Okay. So they already revealed the new Welcome to Your Worst Nightmare flag. I didn't even see that.
I can pull it up real quick if you'd like.
What's up, Ron T? Appreciate you hopping in here. We lose this game. I haven't been impressed with the line on both sides of the ball, but regardless, I'm all in. Neither have we. We're gonna throw that out there. Neither have we. We've not been impressed either. Is Nebraska playing 21? Can you do something for me for running back number 21 of the games? If not, they should be 100%. Oh, okay. So they did unveil that. Okay, I've been at work all day. I have clients. My Friday's my busy day, so I have clients from like 7 a.m. to about like an hour and a half before we start the show. So I actually missed that. So
that's a different banner though.
That's gonna be sick
because that one's branded with Adidas.
No, that is a different one. That's the new one.
Yeah,
I kind of like it.
Like, look at the whole Twitter account. It's black.
Everything's blacked out.
Everything's blacked out.
You know, I tried to change my profile picture twice and it kept giving me an error, so I gave up. So I apologize for my.
This is a sick picture too.
That is insane. I wish our helmets had that little. That would be dope.
That would be dope. Yeah.
Hey guys, appreciate your common man vibes. I'm old and poor and live in Oklahoma. Prior to Oklahoma, I was in Minnesota. Anyhow, did the Gophers get out on probation? On probation?
What?
Are they on probation?
When did they get into probation?
I hope they are. I'm just going to throw that out there. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and talk about the breaking news Matt Rhule extension. Not so breaking news. I actually have the full employment agreement from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln here, and I'm just going to kind of go through it a little bit. And I'll pull it up here so y'all can see it. This is the exact agreement with the amounts and everything. So this should cover all the details that we need to know about this contract. But the university agrees to employ coach as athletics head coach for its football program. Coaches agree to serve in the capacity pursuant to the terms contained within this agreement. University appoint the coach to serve the head coach at athletics football commencing. We already know that. A full-time special appointment member. Compensation and benefits. The university shall pay coach an annual gross salaries provided below base salary, less all required authorizations or authorized deductions to be paid 12 equal monthly installments in accordance. So this gives you his salary all in the exact specifics. The university can adjust the coach's salary by up to 10% if the sports season is shortened or not played due to exigent circumstances beyond the control of the university, such as a pandemic. The university, within its sole discretion, may raise the coach's annual salary from time to time. At the term of the agreement, without the need for formal written amendment to the agreement, the coach shall be eligible to receive the fringe benefits that university offers academic, administrative staff members, as well as the additional fringe benefits that may be approved by the athletic director. We got Mike hopping in here. Mike, I'll pull you in just a second. Except to the extent expressly provided by otherwise within the agreement required by law, the university's obligation to compensate and provide fringe benefits to the coach shall cease immediately upon termination of the agreement. Coach's base salary prorated according to the number of days of employment for any partial calendar year of the term shall be as follows. So we have the 55 million, and then
this is what Carolina's. We're still splitting it with them, correct?
I believe so. So.
That's why it's so low.
I think that's still part of 6,500,000 through December 2024. Through December 2025, 7.5 million. Through December 31st, 2026, 8.5, 2027, 10 million, 2028, 11.5, 2029, 12, January 1st, 2030 through all later of December 31st, 2030 or program's last game of the 2030-31 football season, 12.5 bonuses in addition to coach's salary, sales ref provision. And then if we can read through the Pete Thamel tweet, the coach shall not engage in any activity outside of the university for which the coach will be receiving any remuneration based in whole or in part to the coach's status of being the head football coach and advanced director of intercollegiate athletics, which is of course the AD and the chancellor of the University of Nebraska. This provision applies without limitation to all endorsements and similar affiliates, blah, 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 the Board of Regents. So yeah, there's the nitty gritty here. I can drop this in there if need be, but basically, and then he was extended, and then we got Pete Thamel's tweet. So through the 2032 season, it includes a $15 million buyout that effectively eliminates him. Yeah, $15 buyout. $15 million if they were to buy his contract. So he's not going to any school. And then that buyout, of course, lessens year over year. Contract includes an innovative clause where every time Nebraska qualifies for the college football playoff, his base salary for each year on the deal increases by $1 million. Rhule's salary has an ABV of more than $11.7 million, including retention bonuses, not included change in base comp from the current deal. So all the base compensation stays the same. Rhule's 2 additional years are at $12.5 million, the same as the final year of his current deal in 2020. 2030. The deal remains 90% guaranteed. Rhule is currently in the top 15 in salary at $8.5 million. In 2027, he will make $11 million with retention bonuses. So, from my understanding, if he makes the playoff, he gets $1 million extra annually,
and it is stackable.
Yes. So
That's
each year that he makes it, it adds another 1 million to that, so on and so forth. Let's pull in Mike. Let's hear Mike's thoughts on this. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Gentlemen, what are we up to tonight?
Oh, Can I'm hearing
myself.
Can you turn me down?
Can you turn me down?
Can I turn you down?
Yeah,
I hear myself echoing.
This is
true radio.
I'm on my cell phone, so I don't know if I can turn you down per se.
Are we on speaker?
We're on speaker.
I think I am on speaker. Let me look here.
Try to pull that off. Maybe that'll help.
I'm going to apologize in advance if you hear my dogs barking because trick-or-treaters are coming around.
Yeah, I can't hear it. There. Well,
I can't hear myself now, so
yeah,
we got it.
He muted.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Is that better?
Testing? Yes. What's up, Mike?
You know, I don't know that I've ever been more excited for a game than I am to be sitting in Memorial Stadium tomorrow night.
Man, I wish I was going to be there so bad.
Me too.
Like I'm wearing my black coat to work tonight and sitting here thinking, I'm like, how epic would it be if we pull this upset off? And we have a good chance of doing so. I really think so.
The thing about this is we predicted a loss on Tuesday, but like so many things momentum wise going into this game with the Matt Rhule extension and all that, like everything, like how much the university's played in this blackout game. I just really hope, and I think it very well could lead to a big upset, because I just think everything is trending the right direction. I think the Matt Rhule extension really helps. And I just think the energy is going to be something like we haven't seen in a long time in that building. And
yeah, it's gonna epic. It's gonna rival the Colorado game last year. That's for sure.
I think it might be better. I was at that game, and I think it might beat it. And the players rallying around Rhule because he's staying. Like I just feel like there's a lot of things. We have so many recruiting visitors there. Like I just feel like there's so many things that lead to this team just rallying up to play their best game of the season, this football game. That's just how I feel.
I read something today that we have over 50 recruits coming in, so like the place needs to be on fire. But
there's 60 people.
It's not only just 50. I'd say probably half of them are 4- and 5-star recruits.
And a lot of them are former Penn State recruits too, if I remember correctly.
There is, I think, 3 former Penn State recruits. One of them's a 5-star running back. Another one's a 4-star receiver, and then another one, I believe he's a defensive tackle or defensive end. That's also a 4-star. But these are class of 2027 guys. I think they're in on one 2026 kid from Penn State.
I got to go to work here in just a minute, but I just wanted to hop on here and tell you that first one to 20. I was right last week. I said first one to 24 was going to win that game.
Yep, you were. I remember that.
So I'm going to say first one to 25 wins this game. Yes, I think they have a great offense, and our defense has been susceptible. But I think we can get them in special teams, and I think we can get them running the ball. That's my prediction.
I agree. I think we kind of figured something out last week that we can build from, and if we can eliminate that one terrible pass that Rhule has per game, one or two terrible passes that Rhule has per game, usually one. If we protect the football in this game, I think like we are on the right trajectory, because I think we had a lot that we could build off from last week from film, and I think we're going to see that this week. And so I think it's a matter of, I think in the Minnesota game we tried to do a little too much, and I think Holgorsen came out and basically admitted that. And I think now we're gonna dial it back and do what we do. We're gonna RPO, dink and dunk, curl, flat, rink, dink and dunk our way down the field, run the ball with Emmett Johnson, not get too cute, control the time possession, and they know the recipe to win this game. You got to keep the ball out of Jade Mayava's hands, and keep it away from their athletic receiver core.
I understand they have more than one receiver, but I'm also going to predict Sierra Wright will have Lemon's his last name. He'll have him on lockdown.
Makai Lemon. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
stud. If he can lock down Makai Lemon, he might move himself into a second, first round draft grade for real. Because
don't get me wrong, Makai Lemon will still get some catches. Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna torch us like they have, like some receivers have in years past. So
that's one of those things. Like Makai Lemon's gonna kind of get his. You just gotta limit the other side.
Yeah,
and that's
you remember last year against Colorado? Like Travis Hunter was a big threat, and at the end of the game, he had 10 catches for like 120 yards. But you go back and watch that game, and those catches did, for the most part, absolutely nothing. They were almost meaningless. So he'll make an impact. I predict like that, where like at the end of the day, you'll like, oh yeah, we kind of locked him up, and then you'll see 7 or 8 catches for 95 yards, and you're like, okay, actually he did do pretty good, but it just maybe it doesn't impact you the way that you think.
Yeah, because if we can kind of like let if we hold him under 100 yards, we're in really good shape as long as we contain the other guys. But I think the secret to this game is like understanding that man up Sierra, do what you got to do with Sierra on Makai Lemon, and just make sure you don't get beat by these other guys. And I think if we do that, we're in good shape.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, I'll listen to you. Good night. And
all right, brother.
Go Big Red.
Appreciate you, man. Go Big Red.
Okay.
All righty. So if anybody else wants to call in, we're going to drop the link in here. So did you was there a little bit of drama? Link's already in the chat, by the way. But was there a little bit of drama between Josh Peterson and Matt Rhule?
I don't know.
Because of Josh Peterson breaking the news, and then you saw that oh my gosh. Will Compton posted, it's not a done deal yet. Yeah. What was the deal with that? Because obviously it was a done deal.
I think it was done Tuesday night. Because we had touched on it briefly, where when you start hearing rufflings, then you typically, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I think it was honestly like, hey, we're going to extend the contract. Yes, I agree. Work up the terms. This is happening Sunday, Monday.
But we want to make
they come to a deal
announcement.
Yeah. And I think what happened was the word got out, and then they were strategically trying to release the announcement with his appearance on Pat McAfee, because they released it 5 minutes before he went on Pat McAfee. I don't know if you watched that interview, but at the end, Pat McAfee,
I watched
usually they just tell us. Yeah, so he said usually like Rhule's like, hey, just tell us when and where, and I'll be there. And this time he was like, the university reached out and said it has to be at 12:30 on this day at this, and 5 minutes before is when they released it. So
gotcha.
I think that was probably, if anything, it was more of we wanted to do it on our terms.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I figured. Which I don't necessarily love. Like, if it's not Josh's fault that he got the information,
no,
it was the right information. So I can't be too mad at him for releasing correct information. It's a little different if somebody's out here releasing bad information, or unconfirmed information, but I mean, it was good. So yeah, I saw little little rumblings of that on Twitter after the fact.
Yeah, in my opinion, like, you can't be mad at the person reporting on the story, because he got it from someone, and that someone's probably
attached
in
to
your
the
office.
university, 100%.
And so that's where your problem should be, in my opinion.
Yep. This game, it takes a village. Yes, it does.
100%.
Games would be easier if we could just hand the ball off and get, but we can't consistently do that. 100%. I apologize. The Gophers did not get put on probation. Damn, you got my hopes up.
Thanks.
I guess I'm still butthurt over the ass kick. And the funny thing is, the Wild, Vikings, Twins, Timberwolves are all followed more than the Gophers. Yeah, buddy. Nobody cares about it.
Yep.
Why does it always have to be cold on Halloween? It's supposed to be like 60 all week, but it's 40 right now. Well, I'll tell you right now, in the good old
75 right now.
Good old state of Arizona, it's 85 degrees in perfecto. So it's a great time to be in.
This is the first year in 30 years where my family has not had to go out on Halloween with your costume and then a winter coat on. Like, I can literally see them across the street right now with our dogs, and they're all like in summer clothes because it's 75.
That's actually
it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's actually why we started early, though, so Brian can get out with his kids a little earlier before it gets too terribly cold over there. So,
it is getting cold later.
Yeah, I'm sure at nighttime it's going to drop. So, all right. So Brian, do you feel kind of the same way? Do you feel like there's a lot of momentum going into this game because of kind of the Matt Rhule signing and stuff like that? I think a lot of people have said everything that needs to be said about the signing. Everybody was rushing to get their videos out yesterday, obviously, and take advantage of it. So do you feel like this does lend well going into the game? And do you think this is something that can motivate the team to get a win? And do you think this might be the difference in winning versus losing?
I truly do believe the Minnesota week was when you heard all the original rumblings that he might be going to Penn State. I don't believe that actually had an effect on the team personally. I think it was more of just the coast-to-coast travel and the short week and all that crap. But it probably does play a little part into it. But now you can go into this week and say, hey, guys, like, we can put this to bed. I've been telling you I'm staying. Now we have it in writing. It's a signed contract. I'm staying for the next 5 years or 6 years or whatever the deal was through. I think it's 2032. And so then, like, whatever concerns the players had, because you can be told one thing and completely do the other.
Right.
In fact, that actually happened when he left Baylor. He signed a contract extension in September and left in December. So,
yep.
This one's a little different in my opinion because he didn't take a pay raise. He didn't really do anything other than just extend his contract out for 2 years under the current terms of what he's making. So to me, it's more solidifies that this was a decision to stay home for him and his family as opposed to a money decision because he's already very highly paid. Also, when it comes to a recruiting perspective, you have all these recruits coming in. Oh yeah, and that's part of what's in the contract too. Is it's like 2 year or 2 times a year he has to meet with Troy Danon about NIL and revenue money coming in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But from a recruiting perspective, you remember Trey Taylor when the news kind of was coming out that he might be considered for this Penn State job. He was like, "Well, if Rhule's there, I'm there." And then now you can have all these guys coming into town this weekend and say, "I'm here. I just signed my contract extension. I'm going to be here for the duration of your career." Through 2032. So from that aspect, a recruiting aspect, it certainly helps. From a team aspect, knowing your coach isn't leaving, you can put all those rumors to rest. That helps. Plus, you have momentum where you've got a top 25 team coming in. You've got the blackout. You're going to have a rowdy fan base. You've been calling for it all week. It just, to me, you're exactly right. It just feels like there's a little bit of momentum, a little snowball, we'll call it, that's rolling downhill. And right now we're kind of at the top and we're getting ready to roll. And can we snowball into this big, program that goes back to dominance, or at least goes back to competing for championships or a playoff spot? That's what I hope we're getting to.
And I mean, this win could be program changing. I like
100%.
It 100% can be, because Nebraska immediately potentially becomes the favorite in every single game for the rest of the season. Maybe Iowa, but that would be a close spread. But if we win this game, I still think we might be favored versus Iowa. We'll see. But you got a potential, like, you're right in the college football playoff conversation. As soon as that happens. As soon as we win this game and it goes final, if we win, then Nebraska's right there in the thick of the discussion, coming off of the Rhule extension. It's like that point that Nebraska is like, everybody's like, I think the national media and everybody, because we were already talking about this before the extension, but even more so now, because that was with rumblings of Rhule to Penn State and all that still. I mean, me and you never bought into, well, I never bought into that. We kind of talked about it on the show, and I was never kind of, I was like, he already left his best friend, Pat Kraft, one time to take a contract somewhere else. It's he after an extension. So it really didn't make sense. The whole like, oh, it's his best friend over there, he's going to for sure lure him over there, like everybody was saying. But yes, and because there's some rumblings right here, and this is another point I was going to get. Also, spreading's dropping on our game Saturday. Over under is unchanged, but the spread's dropped. It's 4.5 now.
Yeah, it dropped 2 full points.
It was -6.5, I believe, at open. Yep.
Yeah. So that's probably an indicator of what you're talking about, which is getting momentum, the contract extension.
When I read this, this tweet, I didn't notice that till I just looked at it, but it is 100% down to -4.5 now. So I think that probably goes right along with what I was talking about. Yep. I thought I heard Rhule say he wants to retire here. He said that from the start. One of the things he said when he first came on here is like, and he made sure that he said this the right way, but he was like, I want to be mentioned with the Tom Osbornes and Bob Devaney's. And that right there was telling to me that he doesn't want to just come here and leave. He talked about when he was, back rooting for Penn State, talking about watching Nebraska. And can you back up? Come back in. Sorry, I'm back going a little bit. He talked about watching Nebraska and, really respecting the university. And so that was another one of the reasons why I was like, I don't think he's just going to be quick to leave to go to his alma mater. We thought the same thing. Everybody said the same thing last year when Tony White, UCLA, or the year before last, when the UCLA job opened up. When the UCLA job opened up and Tony White was, everybody was like, oh, Tony White's definitely going to leave to go back to UCLA, and he didn't. And so it was just kind of the same exact blueprint as that, but Rhule, very smart, used it as leverage. And Troy Dannon, very smart, locked up his guy going forward. And that 2027 class, we have to, I think the biggest thing was getting it done before this USC game and announced because of the big recruiting classes that we got coming in. How much does that help recruiting this weekend?
That's what I was saying a little bit ago. Yeah. It's huge. I mean,
it's everything, dude.
Because a guy like Ahmad Hudson, who's being recruited by LSU, Texas A&M, those are kind of his top two, along with Nebraska, Houston a little bit as well, but it's mainly Nebraska, LSU, and A&M. And right now, LSU has no coach. Their governor has come out and said that the AD will not be allowed to be involved in their head coaching search because he hired Jimbo Fisher at A&M, and they had to pay him out $75 million, and he hired Brian Kelly at LSU. So that's why they're not allowing their AD to have much involvement, because of his failures as an AD hiring football coaches. So you're already going, whoever that coach is going in there with turmoil, which to me, if the governor is getting involved, that means that AD is probably on his way out. When you get another AD in, he's going to want to get his guy in too. So that will be what Nebraska will use in that aspect, because LSU situation, Mike Elko could be gone before you know it. And look at us. We just signed Coach Rhule to a 2-year extension through 2032. Look at us. Look what we've done with Luke Lindenmeyer, a walk-on who was 215 pounds 4 years ago. And now he's, fourth on the team in targets, fourth on the team in receptions. He's not a great tight end by any means, but you can show that development with Luke Lindenmeyer. You can say, look, we have a freaking quarterback as our other tight end. They're not elite tight ends by any means, but they've developed those people into good players.
Exactly. Yep. Vegas and bookies are smarter than we are. Well, the thing is, the Vegas and bookies set the initial odds. The movement is based on where the money's coming in. So that means the majority of the money is coming in on Nebraska. That's that.
They've got our picks wrong all year.
Yeah, when the line shifts, the majority that just means that that's where the money's coming in. So the line shifts based on, what they got coming into the books. So should we be able to win out? But we should be able to win out, but we lost to Minnesota and they got smacked by Iowa. That was the one thing where I was like, maybe we'll be the favorite, but I think it's all about of course it's going to be about momentum going into that game. If Nebraska's on a roll like this, we see the odds shifting for this game already, if Nebraska's got momentum coming in that game, I think the money's going to definitely be on Nebraska. So no matter what it opens as, I think the money will ultimately come on Nebraska if they win out. That's we got to take it one step at a time. We got to win the USC week first.
I'm going to counter that thought process.
Go ahead.
Why even watch the game tomorrow? Because USC beat the shit out of Michigan, who we lost to.
True.
So why watch tomorrow?
Yeah.
Football's weird, man. It just shit happens.
Football math doesn't add up.
No, not at all. You see it every year, like the transitive property, and it'll end up with like a school like, Houston Christian as a national championship because they beat a team who beat a team who beat a team that, and then just next thing you know, it's like Houston would in default beat Alabama because of transitive property.
Mm-hmm. Nebraska's better than Bama, confirmed. Get it.
Yep.
Let's see. Late getting kids ready for Halloween. Otherwise, we'll call in flat out tomorrow morning for the game. The other day, if it's all right, I think a lot of people are busy tonight. So we're going to keep the show going for a little bit longer. But Brian's got to get out trick-or-treating with his kids. I don't have kids, so I just got to keep my dogs safe from the door when people walk up and realize I'm not giving candy out. So my dogs are going to be tripping out all day long. How much longer? We got a little bit longer. His extension also eliminated all the distractions, 100%. And I think that could have. Do you think that played a factor going in the Minnesota game?
I think it's a little bit of a factor. That's what I was talking about a little bit ago. Like at the end of the day, I think the biggest factors were you played at Maryland at 2:30, got the game over by 6:30. You get home at midnight. You have a short week. You're leaving on a Thursday afternoon for a Friday night game. It's a lot of travel on a short week. To me, that was the biggest factor. I said that 6 months ago, but that stretch was my biggest concern for those exact reasons. And I think that's what the end result was because of.
Let's see. Could Urban Meyer land somewhere? Florida, Penn, LSU. Urban Meyer's got a nice cushy job, bro. Does he want to? It's possible, but somebody's got to throw a bag.
Job.
Somebody's got to throw a bag at him.
Yeah. Nick Saban was talking about how Florida and LSU are not the jobs that people think they are because of their inability to change with the current landscape. And he talked about how like a school like Indiana, who's having great success under Cignetti, has been able to adapt correctly and quickly to the way football is now, both on the field and outside of it. And that's why they're having success. And Florida and Penn State are floundering because, or Penn State, LSU are floundering because they have not adapted.
And Ken Urban, like Urban's not in the modern college football landscape, like is he ready to come in and be the guy that changes those schools? I feel like he does. He may move the needle with his name, but like, does he understand the modern landscape of college football enough to want to come in and take that risk? I just don't think. I think he's going to get. I just think it takes a huge bag, and he needs to go. Like if he's to go anywhere, I think it's going to kind of be like Holgorsen, where Holgerson's like, I see Rhule here, like I want to be a part of this and I want to work with this kid. I think Urban's got to be able to find that on the roster. He's like, this is a roster that I feel like I can't pass up. Like, or this is a kid that like I can't pass up. Do any of those schools have that? No, I don't think so. So
I mean, Vegas is DJ Lagway maybe, but
yeah, I don't know.
Even then, he's not that good. I don't think.
We'll see, but it's been up and down. Yeah. Vegas is definitely on Nebraska's side. Action Sports Pro has 7 sharks on Nebraska and 0 on USC. So we will not. You absolutely cannot say that right now. No. You absolutely. There's
USC first.
If we beat USC, you cannot sit here and say that Nebraska would not be favored because Vegas is very momentum based. Yep. I don't know who Iowa plays this week though.
Oregon.
Iowa. Yeah. So let's say we win and they lose.
What if they get beat by 30?
Well, they got USC, so they're going to play USC too. So we'll see how that game goes. But you absolutely cannot say that we would. As if the spread came out today, I don't think it would. Yeah, I'm with you. But Meyer and Saban are not leaving their comfy jobs to take on a stressful head coaching job. So I agree. I don't think it makes sense for them.
They make more probably.
This was a question. I think it was a distraction versus Minnesota. As much as he tried, like he just seemed so stressed out that week. Really?
Hell, the week after he was pissed off.
Yes.
And maybe he was more pissed off at himself.
Yeah, it could have been a combination of everything, but that was kind of the weirdest press conference we've seen from him. Yeah. And so I
even know had anything like that.
Because Nebraska still made a ton of mistakes. Otherwise, that game still would have been, we would have had a fighting chance in that game. You know what I'm saying? And again, PJ Fleck, like they are locked into Nebraska every time they play us. Like they want to beat us. And that was probably the worst week for that to happen. Because going into that game, that was already like coming into the season, I had that game as a 50-50 on the schedule just because of how Minnesota plays us. And it's at Minnesota, with the short week and the drought. Like there was a lot already going into that game. And so wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah. Urban wins, though. I'd pay him top dollar if I were those programs. I would agree. Did you see the ESPN stuff, by the way? ESPN YouTube TV.
Guys, are we really going to do this? Disney?
Yeah.
You're talking about pennies on the dollar for a company that makes billions.
ESPN is so annoying. And
they're like the most greedy people ever.
Anybody blaming YouTube TV, you're in the wrong. I'm sorry. This is 100% on ESPN and Disney. 100%.
And it's right before a huge weekend in college football.
Huge. Thank God.
Like November is the biggest month of college football. This is where your winners and your losers are separated, your champions, your playoff teams. This is where it all happens.
And that's exactly why they try to come out and blame YouTube TV. ESPN PR posted something that was basically saying it was all YouTube's fault. They said, well, unfortunately, Google's YouTube TV has chosen. Let me share this real quick. This is what they try to say. Unfortunately, Google's YouTube TV has chosen to deny their subscribers. And I said this. I'm not going to say
gaslighting.
Listen, I'm wild on Twitter. I don't care about followers. I don't care about any of that, bro. I just speak my damn mind. So, unfortunately, Google's YouTube TV has chosen to deny the subscribers the content they value most by refusing to pay fair rates for our channels. Fair rates. What are your fair rates, buddy? Including ESPN ABC. Without a new agreement in place, a subscriber will not have access to our programming, which includes the best lineup in live sports, anchored by the NFL, NBA, and college football. 13 of the top 25 college teams playing this weekend. With a three, that's what they timed this 100% for that reason. With 13 of the top 25 college teams with a $3 trillion market cap, Google's using its market dominance to eliminate competition and undercut its industry standard terms. The arrogance in this, it makes you hate him even more.
Yeah,
we've successfully negotiated with every other distributor. We know how frustrating this is for YouTube TV subscribers and remain committed to working towards a resolution as quickly as possible. Yeah, that's gaslighting 101 right there.
Huh? Yeah. What was their TV deal with the SEC?
Oh my gosh. Hold on. Let me ESPN SEC deal. Hold on. Because this is insane. Like the amount of money that they want, 10-year media agreement worth approximately $3 billion.
Please elaborate on how YouTube TV is at fault here.
They consistently just want more and more money, and like as soon as they get a deal, they're like, okay, well now we want. So it says the SEC distributed 52.6 million to each of its 14 members. Yeah, so yeah, thank God the Big Ten did not cut a deal with ESPN. I'm glad the SEC has those problems, and it's not the Big Ten. I'm glad the Big Ten went the other direction with some of these other networks because that is insanity.
Yeah, NBC, CBS. That is actually probably. I know people don't like CBS or NBC as much. I think they're not as good of a production. I don't think their anchors are as good, but this is why you do it because they're less greedy, I guess, is a way to put it, than Disney. Because this is not a first instance with Disney. It feels like it's every football season.
It's too risky, bro. You
Disney's
can't like. This like ESPN is ruining their partner relationships, and nobody's going to want to do business with them. And I don't blame them. And I hope this comes back to bite them in the ass because
it's because Disney owns Hulu.
Yeah,
and they have a competitor, Hulu Live, just like YouTube TV. So they're trying to force people to. That's what it is. They're being greedy to get this business. If we're not going to get our way, then you're going to have to go buy Hulu TV. That's basically what's going to happen. And it sucks.
All right, guys, if y'all want to call in, we're going to give it about 5 more minutes here. USC is an entirely different team at home versus on the road is crazy. That is another thing here. USC at home plays much better than on the road, and this road environment is going to be like something they haven't seen before. I don't know if Jaden Mayaba's seen a road environment like he's going to see this weekend, and I think like the one thing that I think, potentially the one thing that I do think is going to. We talked about how in the Minnesota game, we weren't aggressive enough on defense. And last week we had that aggression. I think the defense is going to feed so much into this crowd. That is where I think the difference might be had is the aggression that we're going to get on the defensive side of the football because they're going to feed so much off this crowd. And I think that will be the difference in this game, potentially. If Nebraska wins this game, I think that's why. I think this defense is going to be firing off that crowd. And, I think we're going to see the amped up aggressiveness that we saw from even last week. And that's what worked in our favor last week because this team is going to have to force some turnovers. They're going to have to hold the football. But Jaden Mayava has about 7 turnover-worthy throws, I believe, and 3 in one game, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. So
last year.
Last year, he almost had 3 or 4 against us, where we just completely missed it and they turned into touchdowns. So can't have that this week. Got to be opportunistic, and if the opportunities are there, we got to take them. Go Pirates, 100%. Yeah, pirate the hell out of that. Honestly, I watched approximately 75% of the games this year on free YouTube. There's always a pirate stream on YouTube. And I have my sources too. I have my pirating sources as well if I need to go that direction. So, all right, guys. Well, everybody's busy with Halloween, man, and Brian's got to get rolling. So his wife's already asking how much longer is it going to be. So we'll get him out of here so he can go hang out with his kiddos. But I appreciate everybody hopping in here for a quick Matt Rhule extension edition of the Husker Gutter call-in show. Thank y'all. And then Saturday, tomorrow, we will be here for the post game as soon as the clock hits 0. We'll be here celebrating a Nebraska win. Hopefully, me and Brian were wrong with our predictions. I hope we were wrong with our prediction. If so, y'all can all join in and tell us about it, and we will be happy to eat crow and eat our feet. So, but Brian, don't eat too much candy tonight. So I'm going to say
I'll try not to.
All right, man. Well, everybody, thank you again for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Everybody have a happy Halloween. Be safe out there, and don't eat too much candy, y'all. But with that being said, everybody wear black if you're going to the game tomorrow, please. And if you're watching from home, wear black anyways. Why not?
That's what I'm doing.
So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Join us in the post game. As soon as the clock hits 0, we will be going live, and we will be bringing it home, wrapping everything up, and giving you our instant reactions to the game. So y'all tune in for that. And with that being said, we will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.